Hello guys, this is Kazra bringing you another tank review. This time we are previewing and reviewing the older brother of what we did last week. Last week we reviewed the Panzerkampfwagen 6 Tiger, probably auf E or A. This week we're reviewing its older brother, which actually served in the war, the Panzerkampfwagen Tiger 2 in the name called, but actually it was called the Panzerkampfwagen Koinstiger, or King Tiger or Bengal Tiger. That's the roughly translation of Koinstiger. This tank was a beast in World War II. It was one of the most feared tanks in World War II. Like, the Tiger had an opinion of being the ultimate killing machine, and they made something even better, which basically ripped apart Allied tanks without any problem. Allies were so scared of this tank because it was way more heavily armored than the Tiger. It had the same amazing gun, and it was just a beast. It was so hard to do something against those that Allies didn't know what to do. Basically, the tank itself is just incorporating everything the German designers, the German engineers learned from the Tiger. They learned that the sloping of the armor from the T-34 actually makes a big difference, which they incorporated already in the Panther. Now they actually use it on a heavy tank. So they made the King Tiger. In real life it actually was with the Porsche trim, not the Hedgehog one. So this is not the turret. Well, there was both of the turrets were used. You cannot say like it was only Porsche or only like the Tiger H was only a Hedgehog design. I think I'm spelling that right, but if I'm not, then excuse me. We can also check like the description in the game, view the details. As the King or Royal Tiger. Produced from January 44 towards March 45. So yeah, only 489 were built. That's not a lot if you think about it. The Germans had the problem that they were not focused. Honestly, Germans had great tech. They had great designs, great tanks, but they couldn't pump them enough. Especially when the Allies started bombing the factories and dampening the research. While mainly some tanks like the Mouse never reached service in like decent numbers. Or E50s. E50s was a design that was actually, they made the trams, they made the bodies. Everything was ready, but the factory got bombed and it was prolonged. So yeah, there was just so many dampening factors for the Germans to release a significant number of those to actually make a change in the war. But let's go into what the tank is in the game. It has a 1600 hit points. It's a tier 8 heavy tank leading towards the E100. It has 1600 hit points, which is roughly very good for a tier 8 tank. All German tanks are known for having that slight advantage of having 100 or even 50 HP more than anyone else to compensate. Early on it's compensation for armor. Later on there should be no compensation once you actually reach this tank, the E75, which is a even more beastly Tiger. King Tiger, that is. It's an updated design with even more armor. It's so hard to do anything against. But this is not about the E75, maybe another time. So the tank weighs 70 tons. That's just plainly huge. You shouldn't attempt to ram this unless you're in something like a KV5 or a Mouse or a E100 that's even more heavy than this. It's powered by an 870 horsepower engine, which is quite lowish for this kind of mass. It doesn't accelerate fast and it doesn't reach a high top speed because of it. But the tank doesn't feel sluggish. If you know what I mean, the tank has good ground resistance stats, I think. Then it actually moves around quite decently. A top speed of 28 kilometers, so lower than the Tiger. with 26 traverse speed and 25 to the traverse speed, making it a complete 51 traverse speed, so something roughly like the Tiger. So you're used to that once you reach this. It can be circled quite easily, but as I said, it doesn't feel sluggish, it feels okayish, at exactly where you want to. So, let's go into the armor, which is one of the better parts of this tank. The armor on this beast, from the front, is this plate. Has 150mm of armor, 80 on the sides, 80 on the back, and the turret is 185 on this little part. This has 185, 80 on the sides and 80 in the back. So same for the backs and the sides for the turret and the hull. It's only this frontal plate that's a little bit lower, but then again you have a very slight view of this. And the lower frontal plate, which is actually I think something around 100. It's not that good. If we're talking about armor, we have to go around weak spots. The weak spots for this tank, if you have to aim at its hull, which I highly discourage you, unless you're in a tier 8 heavy tank which has above 250mm of penetration, which would be the issue. Shoot the gun mantle, this little gun port. It is a weak spot, but you have to actually hit here, because then, if not, you can see this is quite round, so it can bounce. I saw people actually getting hits on those two viewports with damage, but it has to be like a shot angled towards the center of the tank, not straight forward, because you're gonna go straight into the turret. Maybe blocking the turret ring actually. And as for the turret itself, you can see the commander's hatch being a good spot, this little viewport, and sometimes Tigers tend to turn around a little bit. Even if they give you a slight angle on this side, you can actually go through this quite easily with a good gun. But I wouldn't suggest this as and also this plate as your primary source of damage. Of course, the huge lower frontal plate, still lower than the Tiger's one, is a huge weak spot that's easily penetrated, and the problem with it is that it, as all German heavy tanks, it has, from this line, there's a transmission over here, so if you penetrate this side, it's actually going to go through the tank and damage everything in the tank itself. From the side, you can roughly aim around here for a convenient ammo rack or engine damage, because the engine is actually here. So you're gonna destroy the engine, and I think the ammo rack is somewhere over here or in the back of the turret. Of course you can like shoot in the front and also do damage. Also make it go on fire, which is weird and stupid, but okay-ish. We're not gonna complain about that. So yeah, that's the armor. As for playing the King Tiger, what you wanna do 90% of the time is angle yourself. This tank is the king of angling on its tier. There's nothing that can angle better. The side armor is enough to not get overmatched, and you will soak up shots like a boss by this part of your tank. And actually, if we would be in a game, my turret would look right over here, so you would give just a tiny amount of your frontal plate while holding your lower your gigantic weak spot, which is the lower plate. If you're going even more into angling, now that like this side it starts to be a weak spot, starts to be easily penetrated. Of course, shooting in the tracks can damage. You see there's a little side skid on over here, absorbing HE damage and acting as spaced armor, so no hash rounds over here, guys. But then your lower plate and your upper plate, when they are angled, you're basically going to beast mode. Nothing can penetrate that unless it has very good stats on its gun. So angling, and side scraping. Because angling only applies when you don't have any way of covering your hull, but if you have a wall over here, you can easily like go like this. Let's say here's the border of the wall. You can go like this. Your gun will be pointing, and you will expose your side for bounces. Honestly, you're gonna bounce shit tons of shots in this. This is basically the entry level learning of side scraping you get on the Tiger. This improves your skill with it if you continue to use angling and side scraping, and then you go into E75, which is roughly one of the best Tier 9 heavy tanks, which can just plainly take shots from fucking anything and disconcern. Of course, there is a lot of gold ammo flying around. People with tier 10 tank destroyers will be firing gold at everything because they don't know how to use their tanks or the stat patterns. So you have to be prepared that even with angling, even with everything, you will get penetrated. So that's all about the armor. 400 view range, which is very good for a tier 8 heavy tank, and 710 signal range, being the average tier 9 radio. Now let's go into equipment. Equipment for this tank, if I would have to select, because I actually moved my equipment from this to the E75. Vert stab, vents, and rammer. If you don't have a repair crew, toolbox could be a good substitute for the rammer. For the vertical stabilizer. Or the ventilation is more up to your decision. Do you prefer to have vents or the vert stab? Actually, our enhanced gun lane drive is also available, so I have to start checking out the difference between vert stab and enhanced gun lane drive. Does the enhanced gun lane drive ever has an advantage over the vert stab? But yeah, that will be the equipment. There's roughly nothing else. Some people like to have spar liners on tanks like this because they're not very mobile. Wet ammo rack is completely a waste of time. Binoculars, coated optics, also you have already very good view range for a heavy tank. So yeah, that's the equipment for this. Of course, consumables. If you have the credits to spare, you use a gold fire extinguisher. A large fire extinguisher. Automatic. Repair kit, small kit, that's it. For ammo, with the top gun, I would say one high explosive rounds, 5 to 10 if you're really bad at aiming, APCR ammunition, and then the rest just plainly AP ammo. Yeah, we forgot to go for about one thing. Sorry that I'm just trying to say something and I constantly stop. The guns on this tank, because that's actually a very important part of the review. You have a choice of 3 guns on the Tiger. King Tiger, that is. Those are those 3. Now I highly encourage. You're gonna start out with the long 88, which is not bad. You can play with it and you can have some success with it. But it's not 100%. I would not say that it's a very good gun for this tank. You have amazing armor, use it, be in the thick of the battle, and just the DPM is a little bit lowish. Then you get the first 10.5mm gun. I highly advise you don't buy the gun. Even though it has good penetration, good average damage, decent aiming time, because it's lower than the 88 actually, decent rate of fire, it has horrible accuracy, and honestly it doesn't behave at all, and it has basically the same penetration you get on the 88, so you only get a little bit of average damage, 80 more average damage for the price of losing 0.03 accuracy and losing actually your rate of fire, because it's going to be lower. It's not going to be the 6.7 but the 5.5. So I wouldn't suggest it. I actually didn't play even a single game with it because I knew it's a bad choice. I waited and grinded out for the next gun, which is the top gun for the King Tiger. Also 10.5, 2.3 accuracy, 2.3 aiming time, 0.34 accuracy, so exactly the same as the long 88. 225 average penetration, which is quite good on tier 8. T32 drivers would kill for this kind of penetration. 320 average damage, so you're gonna have some shots going almost to the range of 400 damage. Rate of fire is quite lowish, but what can you do? You get more average damage and you get better penetration, so... Yeah, those are the guns. With APCR just to top off, APCR has 285 penetration in this tank. So you can actually see this is the long 10.5, which is an awesome gun on this tank. Now let's go into the crew before we go into a game. This tank has a 5-man crew: commander, gunner, driver, radio operator, loader. For skills, I would suggest getting brought in arms as a second skill. Like, you get the first skill, go with repairs. If you're not getting your crew from the Tiger, you're buying a fresh crew for this tank. Get repairs. Start off with repairs. Once they reach 100%, go with like firefighting or something. Just start other skills that have effect immediately, not after some time. Once you have that at 50 or 60%, and you want to spend like 10 gold per guy, so 50,000 gold, change it, make it so everyone in the tank has either you go with brother in arms for everyone and then repairs, or you can do the thing that I did on this tank actually. I got 6 cents on the commander, not smooth ride, that's snapshot on the gunner, preventive maintenance, this is actually a big one, situation awareness, and safe stowage. Safe stowage is not a must, you don't get ammo racked quite often, but preventive maintenance is a huge deal on this tank. You're gonna get fired quite a lot, because people will be shooting your lower frontal plate and you will get fired. If you're not using the golden fire extinguisher, you don't have the bonus 20% or 5%. I think it's 5%. 5% less chance to catch fire. So actually the skill actually helps you quite a lot. But those are your choices. You have to decide, do you want Brother in Arms for increased overall performance of the crew, or do you want those specific skills? You can see I'm at my third skill. The moment I hit about 60-70% of this skill, I'm gonna change it. So first skill will be Brother in Arms, second will be the skills that I just noted, and then third skills will go as accordingly as what I need. Like right now I have, our third skill would be on my commander Recon, on the gunner it would be probably repairs, I don't need that skill that I. Driver clutch braking, it really helps, then you can go with off-road driving, just to increase the like, driver has only good skills, he doesn't have bad skills. Radio operator, situation awareness, and then you can go with the one that extends signal range, but honestly who cares. And loader, yeah, you get basically safe storage, Brother in Arms, safe storage, and I don't know, you can go with the third skill, either go with repairs, firefighting, or the skill that actually intuition, or it's called like that, that gives you the chance to actually change the shell, yeah, intuition, or adrenaline rush. But honestly, if your tank's at 10% HP left, then it doesn't matter that much, you're gonna die eventually. So yeah, that's the tank review in the garage. Let's go and grab some games. So here's the game. We're playing with Gold Eric and Clan Lord. Like, you can see on this map, everyone's going over here, and I'm thinking like, oh shit, no, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna go around. And as I said, even though the Tiger is quite slow, it doesn't feel that way. You don't feel like dampened towards other tanks. It's not very fast, but the 28 kilometers per hour is easily attainable. I was doing something on the other screen while the tank was going, that's why I'm looking like a moron on a big wall. There we go. Even though this is not the best replay, I'm just gonna show it to you to like showcase some features of the Tiger, We're gonna talk about it after the game also. Now, first order of business. I'm on this hill. I'm showing them my tank to get the gun depression, but I'm angled. You can look at the little like silhouette on the left side. You can see that I'm angled at roughly 45 degrees. There we go, there's enemies. And the gun on this tank is purely amazing. It really behaves. Most of the time the King Tiger really is enjoyable to play because its gun is very good. It has decent damage, very good rate of fire, and very good accuracy if you think about it. So we're just poking at this T-32. Now I'm gonna try a shot on the E75, but I got hit by the RT, of course. Now that was my bad. I actually I twitched my hand. That's the problem with my mouse. My mouse doesn't actually record all of my movement. It just like selects random bits of when I move my hand. So I'm not able to do minor adjustment at long ranges. You can see we're just like taking almost wild shots. The aiming time is good enough that we can like stand there, aim with a shot, and we leave him on 10 life because we had a low damage roll. G-Dub Panther hits the 25 unfortunately. Now the Yakti guy, I think, yep. No, the Tiger actually killed him because we have our teammates flanking around. And this is already a win. It's 3-5, so maybe not, but everything is showing that the enemy team is doing bad. And they will start to, yep, right now they started gradually losing tanks. Already 2 people died in quick succession. Gold's already at 2 kills. But going back to the Tiger, you can see it's go 28 kilometers per hour. It's not that much. But it doesn't feel sluggish. I don't know why, but it's just the King Tiger isn't a sluggish tank in my mind. It's the same as the Tiger. I don't think of them as slow. So I actually enjoy playing with them a lot. Now we're gonna fight against a E75. Fortunately for me, this Yak Tiger will be... Ah, this was bad. I actually shot... I don't know actually what, probably a gun or something, but now I have fewer shots on the sides of our E75. It's putting one shot into him. Our Tiger went around and actually he's gonna reload faster than I do. But he missed, so I finish off the E75. Side shots are not that hard to do. So yeah, not awesome damage and stuff like that. It's not like a great game when you would get 3,000 or 4,000 damage. Unfortunately, I'm not playing anymore with the King Tiger. I just played a few games and this was one of the best. I had a game against a tortoise that you guys saw on Friday last week. That actually was quite decent. That happened quite decent. I killed a tortoise basically and then had one more shot. But that game previewed also a good the strengths of the Tiger. Like Rosie suggested that I use that replay for the game, but I actually thought that this would be better, like moving and doing something except for just switching around and trying to kill a tortoise. So you can see the Tiger H is just like outspeeding us on a hill. Unfortunately, we're not gonna do anything in this game anymore, so let's just go to the garage and talk about this game. So here we are back in the garage. Let's just sum up what we knew, what we saw, and what is else to say about this tank. As I said, the King Tiger is one of the best tier 8 vehicles that is available in the German line. And not only, from tier 8 heavies it has one of the highest penetrations, very accurate gun with good average damage, not awesome but good, with good aiming time, It's well armored for its tier. It's not fast, but it's certainly not like sluggish. So I would say like the King Tiger is one of my favorite tier 8s. I played the T-32, I'm playing the 110, I played the King Tiger, the T-34, and I have to say that this tank has somewhat of a... It melts my heart in some form. It has its downsides. It can be easily overcome, but if you know how to play it, you can have amazing games with it and still have fun. It requires not a very specific playstyle, but just awareness that you're not invincible. You have armor, you're not unkillable, so be sure to remind yourself of that. So yeah, that's it. If you guys think that I should say something more or do something special for the next review, just post it in the comments. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something about the King Tiger. If you still don't have it, maybe made up your mind to get it. Cause this line really is worth it. You get the Tiger H, then the King Tiger in E75. Then it's a little bit of a downside when you reach the E100. But then again, there are people who know how to play the tank very well. Maybe I will grow fond of it once I have it, once I get it, but we'll see with time. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.